Next up, we will have the Minions versus Ting Tang. And the Minions is actually a two-part robot. This is a multi-bot, so it'll be two half-pound robots being driven by two different drivers simultaneously. On the other side, we will have Paul with Ting Tang, which is a largely 3D printed vertical drum spinner. Looks beautiful, and I know earlier on he was working on tweaking it, getting it working properly. I definitely saw that weapon spinning. Be a question of whether or not he's able to spin it up without flipping himself over. I know he's having some trouble with that earlier, so hopefully he's got it under control now, or at least long enough to get one hard hit on at least one of the two minions. You see the two little robots in the red corner there. They're very similar bodies, but one has a full wedge on the front. The other one has two kind of triangular half wedges with a small lifting arm in the middle. And they're hoping that together they can pin their opponent and push them out the side. Ting Tang, on the other hand, just hoping that his weapon is powerful enough to beat the heck out of the other two and break them. Drivers are ready, judges are ready, and in 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh, look at that weapon spin instantly up on Ting Tang. Definitely sounds nasty. And getting a little bit of a tip in the back of one of the minions there. It's very mobile, and you can see it, gyroscopic precession is leaning it up on one wheel there as it gets a nice hit on the wedge of the front of one of the two minions. It's a very fast robot, too. I'm quite impressed. It is managing to stay on the ground long enough to make use of its weapon. Oh, look at this. The two drivers, the minions here, pinning them from both sides, able to avoid the weapon, which is very important in this type of a robot. But that Ting Tang, man, does it move. Just got to watch out for that red push-out over there. Now, one thing with the fact that the wheels keep lifting up like that is it's going to make it easier for the wedges to get underneath of them. Oh, look at this, a one-on-one pushing match. Now, the interesting thing here is one of those robots is only half the size of that Ting Tang, so the two of them together you'd think would be able to push them, although at this point they're pushing into each other, not in the same direction. And they're ending up with just a pile of robots over in the blue corner there. Oh, something comes off of one of them, the lifting arm possibly, or part of the wheel hub by the looks of it. So that weapon on Ting Tang is working, it is dangerous. Oh, now he's turning it up to 11. Here we go, now he's mad. The bees have gotten angry and they're coming for revenge here. Oh no, he gets flipped upside down. That's not a great position for him, although he actually is still able to drive quite well. Oh my gosh, just how much faster can that thing go? Got to make sure not to kill his battery at this point, of course. And faster isn't always better as he rams into the side wall of the arena. One of the robots is having trouble getting over to Ting Tang, the minion pair, but now they do manage to get under it. They both have him over by the blue push-out, but they're not able to lift him up at the moment. He's just angrily turning up the speed on that thing. But they're not able to push him very well at this point, especially sideways. It's always harder to push the robot sideways because the wheels don't like to roll that direction. 1 minute remaining as the two minions surround Ting Tang, trying to direct it around. The one with the lifter is trying to get that lifted up, but just can't quite reach underneath of Ting Tang. Now flipping itself over and then into the red hazard. Still a pushing match between the flat wedge and the Ting Tang. Ting Tang now having trouble moving by the looks of it. The right wheel spinning, the left wheel is not. He's not getting very far. In the meantime, that flat wedge is coming in and pinning Ting Tang up against the wall. There is still 30 seconds remaining, so it still is anybody's fight depending on what we can do. But Ting Tang is not moving very far at this point. The one minion with the lifter trying to get himself self-righted. They are holding off, and the judges are starting to count down as the one with the lifting arm runs into the weapon. But there's 10 seconds remaining, and these two wedge bots are still pushing away at him, trying to do something with him. 5 seconds left. Oh, there we go. Pushes into the red hazard. There we go. Gets a little bit of damage. 1, and time is up. That is the end of the fight. Well fought on both sides. Congratulations to both David and Curtis for driving the minions, and Paul with Ting Tang. This is going to go to a judge's decision now, where they will have to decide based on damage, aggression, and control shown throughout the match as to who is the winner. It's going to be a bit of a difficult one. I mean, I can't say there's a whole lot of damage on Ting Tang, except that one wheel did stop, so it's kind of a question of why that stopped, whether that was inflicted by his opponents or not, but he certainly managed to break some things off of the minions. And yet for the second, well, probably about the last third of that fight, looks like he did have trouble controlling his robot, so. And while the minions were definitely showing a lot of aggression and trying to direct them around the arena as best as possible. So the judges have decided it's a unanimous decision. The win goes to the minions. Congratulations, David and Curtis. Damage only counts for one of the categories, and I would certainly say that aggression and control were certainly shown throughout the latter part of the match by the minions.